109-110, an interesting game here. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, a lot of playoff implications, and this is what's different here, Kyle, from 2019 to 2020. A team that still has a legitimate chance at getting the number 2 overall seed is going, you know what? Don't matter to me. I don't even want to play football this weekend. Yeah. I'm going to rest a lot of starters, which allows Cleveland to jump through the back door and get into the playoffs. They caught a really bad break last week. 4 wide receivers down, 2 offensive linemen, and a host of other things went wrong. The Jets ended up beating them. If they were full go, they beat the Jets by 2 touchdowns last week, and we're not even worried about this game overall. But now you roll into Pittsburgh gets that big win, and they come back last week against the Indianapolis Colts, and now we see Cleveland saying, you know what, we got to win and get in, which I do think they will. A couple wide receivers that were out last week on the COVID list back involved, but they do have a little bit of an issue in Cleveland here with a breakout of COVID, not being able to be in the facility, have to do a lot of things virtually. We'll see how that plays into it this weekend, but you're going to get a Mason Rudolph start from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the key word here is that we talk about is, yes, Pittsburgh will be resting starters. This is not college football where you can sit your entire offense. And Mike Tomlin talked about it this week already, Kyle. Hey, look, I can't sit both of my guards if I only have one backup. Somebody's got to play. The same thing with the tackles, the same thing at linebacker position. The one thing I do think they're going to play is at the wide receiver position to give Mason Rudolph some targets and have a semblance of offense. But the last thing I'm waiting for in this game, Kyle, I need to see who's in or out on that offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Villanueva doesn't play, if their other tackle doesn't play, then you're in a little bit of trouble, because the one thing Cleveland does well, they rush the passer. Olivier Vernon, Myles Garrett, that's going to be a tough one to uphold if you have a backup offensive line in.
Yeah, I mean, probably aside from that Rams-Arizona game, which is pretty interesting, this is, to me, the most interesting game of the weekend. How Pittsburgh go balls to the wall and try to knock out Cleveland? I think they do. They don't like – these two teams hate each other. Mason Rudolph, Myles Garrett obviously have a history there. When I look at this game, I think the 10 points is too much. I think Pittsburgh absolutely covers that spread. I don't see Cleveland blowing them out. And I think it's important to keep an eye on Cleveland. 2 more players test positive today. If someone else tests positive, when these sort of things happen, it can snowball quickly. You could wind up looking at this game going, oh, wow, Cleveland's minus a running back, or now they're without any of their tight ends. Harrison Bryant was put on the list Tuesday. He's already going to be out. So keeping an eye on this COVID outbreak is important for Cleveland. Should they win the game? Absolutely. It's a must win. They get their 4 wide receivers back who were out last week. They came back to practice today. Actually, just a few hours ago, they came back to practice. But I still think Mason Rudolph is competent enough. He had some good moments. Let's not forget, Pittsburgh was right in the playoff hunt till the very end last year with he and Duck Hodges at quarterback. They were in it right up until week 17. I look at that total of 42. I know we might get some rain and some cold weather here in Cleveland. I think the 42 is a little low. I do think both these teams can get in the 20s. I think this is a hard-fought game. I think the total's too low. I like Pittsburgh to cover, and I like the over. And my God, am I rooting for Pittsburgh to win, because the Cleveland Browns are absolute frauds, and it will make me really happy if I can say that come wild card week without them being in the playoffs. It'll make me look a whole lot smarter.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be a tough task for Pittsburgh to pull off, because again, we don't know who's in or who's out, or if Mike Tomlin's just saying like, hey, I'm going to put Big Ben and maybe 2 other guys, then you're going to get a pretty good effort out of Pittsburgh. But if Pittsburgh on that ridiculous defense, TJ Watt's probably not going to play. They're talking about Tuitt not playing. If you sit down Joe Hayden, then you're looking at, all right, we know they're professionals and they get paychecks, but sooner or later, you're not going to be able to hold up because the other team is just too talented. So when you take a look at team totals in this game, Pittsburgh is really low. Like I look at Fox Bet right now, you get a team total Pittsburgh at 14.5, like minus 118, which is insanity. But again, it doesn't make much sense unless you get a semblance of saying, hey, we're going to have a competent offensive line and our wide receivers in. That's not a bad price to pay, because most people won't look in that direction. Whereas maybe, Kyle, they would look at the Cleveland direction, say team total 26. If you're talking about, 11 starters only playing 5, and the key guys who rush the passer are not playing, then you probably would think that Cleveland would be able to move the football, which your original point I think is valid. 42.5, that's a pretty low number, because if you can say Pittsburgh, Kyle, can get to 17 points, Cleveland's not getting held to 14 points against a backup defense. They're going to at least get that 24-28, which gives you a chance at hitting that 42.5. So a lot more stuff to go over. But you know what the best part about doing this is, Kyle? We get another chance to do it on Sunday morning, 12 p.m., when we get you ready and say, Kyle, I know who's starting today for the Pittsburgh Steelers today at 1 o'clock. So join us as always on Sunday. If you miss anything, there's a link below us right there, sbrpicks.com/NFL. Anything you need to be a better NFL gambler is right on that link there below. I know a lot of people watch this on the replays. If you see us, give the thumbs up. If you want to give us a thumb downs, that's fine. If you miss anything, click on that link below. It's always going to be active there, and we will get you to that starting gate on Sunday morning.